What's going on, guys? King Shrats here, back into the video on the channel. And today I went to Taco Bell. It's already splayed out because I had to check my order. We had some technical difficulties, more or less, when I went to try these new rolled chicken tacos. They didn't put them in my bag. Normally, I would be like, it's okay. I had time today. I just came from seeing The Nun. This is my movie cup back here, but I got my blast. They were just going to let me drive off without them. But I went back and Auntie straightened me out. My fast food theory is when you go in, there's always like an auntie that's going to straighten you out. And I do appreciate her taking care of me. Gave me some extra food, threw in some extra free rolled chicken tacos. Much appreciated. You could tell by the employees, they just didn't even want to be there, which that's cool. But, if I pay for my food, especially for the sake of a review, like I would like my food. But anyway, we move. We have the cheesy jalapeno Mexican pizza, the rolled chicken tacos. Now, there is a new item, strawberry twist, but they didn't have those even when I went back because I thought it was missing. They didn't have those, but we've got those, and we got some extra food thrown in today, which they fixed. I had lettuce on my chalupa. No one cares. Let's get into the review. Let's start with these rolled chicken tacos. So these are $3.79 for two of them, which comes with a dipping sauce. Or you can get them in an order of 4, which is $6.39. Again, location prices may vary, but I did double check at mine. That's how much they do cost. $3.79 for this is kind of crazy. I feel like you can get, because if these ain't better than 7-Eleven taquitos, I'm going to be highly annoyed at what you charge me for that. But that is the inside, and this is the outside. The actual chicken taco part, the rolled part, does seem nice and crispy, which is good. So you can get there you go. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're not bad at all. 7-Elevens are very comparable. I do like the dipping sauces that you get, but they're nothing to write home about from the scale of anything. Meaning, I think 7-Elevens are like 3 for $3. I'd be just as okay with those as these. But I definitely eat them. There seems to be like a same kind of mixture, like a chicken cheese, and I'm gonna try to break this one open just so I can. There you go. Yeah, it's just like a chicken mixture, like a shredded chicken mixture. I don't want to be this guy again, but I have to say it. Can you just offer this in a taco? I don't get why we have mix like this and what was in the dipping tacos that had better proteins than their mid-refrigerated tasting chicken or that dog food beef. I really don't understand, because this is at least serviceable, and I think they are good. A little on the expensive side, but they're still not bad. But there's a 7-Eleven like 2 over for me. I'd probably just go there if I wanted a taquito that bad. But even with that being said, on a fast food scale, I'd still give them a 7 out of 10. They're enjoyable. The dipping sauces are going to carry them, though. But no big deal. Let me get a sip of my boom. I got 2 because Auntie hooked me up. Yeah, man, they didn't even care, bro. I walked in. The people that was working there, like 8 employees in the back. They literally just walked past. They was like, I don't care. And she comes out and she's like, what happened? Like, you could tell. She had it up to here. Super nice, though. She even threw me some fire sauces and stuff like that, which is really cool. I'm going to go back to these because I want to do that fire sauce with the cheese a lot of people do, which I've stupidly never tried. I do want to try this cheesy jalapeno Mexican pizza. It looks like just a regular pizza, but I know they added jalapenos, obviously, and I think they did put nacho cheese in this, but it's a Mexican pizza still. It's nice marketing. I have to be in the mood for these. Refreshingly mid. In reality, you could have ordered that anyway. If you use their app, you do have the option to add jalapenos. You could have done it. For people who don't know. Mexican pizzas for me from Taco Bell are hit or miss. It's alright. If you like Mexican pizzas, you'll like that too. There really isn't much of a difference between that and the original one. You get a little bit of the queso, but again, the queso and the jalapenos are, if you use their app, 2 things you can add on there. You can add whatever you want to onto this menu. I'm going to show you on my phone just kind of what I'm talking about. So if I use the app, say I'm on the cheesy jalapeno Mexican pizza, if you just go to their app right here on this little mark and hit customize, you can change whatever is on there. And then if you go down to the bottom where the add-ons are, there's even more options. So you have 1,000,000,001 different options that you can put on here that have always had their ability to be customized. There's not much of a difference between this and anything else. I just feel like it's marketing more than anything. Like, you're insulting my intelligence. No disrespect to Taco Bell, because I understand some people may not know that, but anybody who's as familiar with apps being how much food I do have to get for the sake of content, they kind of already know this. And if you look close enough, like the jalapeno peppers, they moved it up to here because it comes stock now on this. But if you go to their regular Mexican pizza, you can just add that or cheese sauce and get the same thing. It's the same score as a Mexican pizza for me on a fast food scale, which is upper mid. If I'm in the mood for them, they can get up into the 8s. But if I'm not, then they're usually like a 6. And I'm going to split the difference and give it a 7 out of 10. It's the same thing, in my opinion. But we do have some other food. I do want to talk about the naan. And believe it or not, since I'm in one of those moods because I had to go back because they keep screwing up my stuff, I got time today. So we're going to talk about the naan. And what I thought about it. How do I say this? Some sequels, you don't have to watch the first one. This sequel, you will be missing out on plot points that are relevant to this movie if you don't. So even if you can catch like a book, people do the summaries and stuff like that, you'll be better off if you do so, because there are things that I was like, oh, that's from the first movie. Oh, that's from the first movie. They show certain things in flashbacks that will give you a general idea, but it's still more relevant if you watch the first movie, because a lot of the things were built in the first that carry over to the second. This almost seemed like a Nun 1.5, in my opinion. There wasn't much of a change in characters, save for maybe one or two, with one or two new additions, which I liked. The new characters. I thought the old characters did a great job as far as reprising their roles and keeping things kind of uniform to what it was. Was it better than the first one? For me, no. It's rare that sequels do that. I didn't walk in thinking it was going to be, but I think that the first and second act, the middle act of the movie, did a good job of kind of building the tension, and then the third act, it made me roll my eyes about 4 or 5 times. If you're a fan of The Nun and you know how the story went, I don't want to give spoilers away, but in that third act, it seemed like they reached too much in order to make everything kind of intertwine and tie it in, and I don't think that they had to do that. This is a personal opinion. It's not like fact, but in my personal opinion, everything doesn't need to be explained. Sometimes movies over-explain things, and they don't realize that maybe generally speaking, this is a generalization, which we'll talk about in a second, the audience doesn't really care sometimes. It reminds me of when they tried to explain The Nun. They tried to explain why no one cares. It's the equivalent to me of, in a lot of slasher movies, like Michael Myers, for example. What made Michael Myers great in the horror movie sense was that we didn't know what the hell, why. He was just evil. And then in the second movie, up until Halloween 6, they did all this stuff trying to explain things, and it just kind of got off track of what it was supposed to be. And I feel like The Nun was on the step of doing that. They didn't quite do it, but they almost did it. If they make another one, they're definitely going to do it. But overall, the first one I gave 3 stars to because I thought it was okay. I would probably give 2 stars to this one. I don't think you need to go out of your way to watch it, just to be honest. If you're a fan of the Conjuring series, though, in general, you'll enjoy it because it's more of that. One of the things that I personally don't really care for in the Conjuring series is that there's way too many jump scares, and they almost rely on jump scares instead of an actual decent plot. The first one didn't, but as they expanded the universe and made Conjuring 48 and The Nun and the La Llorona and all that, they started overdoing the jump scares, whereas every 5 seconds there's a jump scare. Insidious, I'm looking at you too because you've also done it. So, it just goes too far. Excuse me. It goes too far off the rails. I still did enjoy the movie, but if I'm putting it against other movies in a similar genre, it's 2.5. It's not great, but unless you're a fan of the Conjuring universe, I wouldn't waste my money. And I'm warning the fans of it, as a person who is one, that the shtick is starting to get a little old. They've kind of, when you start making too much of one movie, it just goes towards like little pieces of it, and you're like, okay. And that's just how I felt throughout the whole movie. But not really much else to say about it. It did feel a little more big budget. I also didn't like the way the nun looked in it. Too much detail. Like when she was in the shadows. But now that she's not, just didn't. I didn't need her explained. Didn't need it. Didn't need it. It just seemed too outlandish to me. They tried to tie it in. They tried to tie the what do you call them? The protagonists in. And I was like, it just made me do that. So, that's just my opinion. You can go at your own risk if you like to. But the last thing I want to get out of here, this is because I just happened to look at my comments before I hopped on here. If you're gonna, like, try to poke at somebody, I'm gonna just read the comment because I thought it was funny, but I want you to, because you want your, I'm not putting a comment up there because sometimes I think people say stuff like this because they want me to post it, but I'm not that. So I'm gonna just put what I was written and be like, what the hell are we doing here? So 2 days ago, I made a comment in a video that said I don't like to make generalizations about things. Never said I didn't do them, but I really try not to generalize everybody, but generalizations are a normal thing. So the next day, I made a statement that said the Friday the 13th movies are bad. And so they said I'm the pot calling the kettle black. I know you're watching because you had to watch 2 freaking days in a row. So here's me telling you, no. You see, I'm going to read the definition of generalization because if you're going to try to be condescending or like weird about it, we can do it. So, a generalization, sorry, I was chewing, is a concept or general statement obtained by inference from specific cases. Meaning, you gathered evidence that you can't have for an entire sweeping rule of a larger topic. So you have basic anecdotal evidence off of what you got, and you infer from that, and then you make a generalization based on anybody. So if I said something like, all pit bulls do this as a dog breed, that's a generalization because I've never seen every pit bull. I can only make generalizations based off of the evidence I've been handed. People do that with groups of people, etc. If I say that I don't like the Friday the 13th movies, or that they're all bad, it's not a generalization because I've seen them all. There's no extra movie that I'm extrapolating. See, that's a definitive statement. That means I'm definitively saying that those movies suck because I just said I watched them all again. Therefore, I'm not generalizing about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I was generalizing, I would have only seen 2 or 3 of them and said, they're all bad. That's a generalization. I made a definitive statement, which I will admit, if that's what I said, because I don't know what I said, to be honest with you, is a misquote. Because there are Friday the 13th movies that I enjoy. I thought I said that. I do enjoy the 2009 remake. I do. And there was a fan film that was actually posted on YouTube in 2017 that I think is really good. And better than the rest of them. I also think Jason X is campy and not trying to be good. And I enjoyed that one. The first 3, nah. Manhattan, nah. Every single one before that, not really. Respect Kane Hodder's contribution, yep. There are not all things about it, but understand if you're gonna like say stuff like that, you gotta. I've seen all the movies. It's not a generalization. I'm not inferring anything. Exceptions to rules make generalizations. There's no exception if I've seen them all. But I love you. I just want to say that. At the end of the day, I've said this a billion times. I know some people may take my replies to comments the wrong way. And that's your prerogative. But if I replied to your comment, I'm not pissed off about it. I look at it as you're giving me shit and I'm giving you shit back. If you can't handle me giving you shit, then don't give me shit. I don't care. If I replied to the comment, I'm really not pressed about it. It makes me, I like debating. Me, if you watch the unfiltered episodes or you've been on my Twitch stream, I debate with people all day. I find it fun. So, if you're offended by any of that, because some people think that they're like, oh, he's a dick. Like, you're not, you don't really know me enough or have been around me enough to know that I don't really care that much. Like, again, you're more than welcome to hop in a Twitch stream, as long as you aren't saying something like off the cuff, disrespectful about certain people. I'm all cool with, like, if you want to like poke at me and stuff like that, like, that's fine by me. But I'm gonna do it back because that's what people do. At least where I come from, I don't mess with people that I'm like. I don't like. If I don't like you, I won't reply. I don't keep it in a buck. So if you see me writing in caps and stuff like that, that's just me having a little whatever. Some people take it the wrong way, and they're like, oh, I was just kidding. I'm like, nah, you can kid. I can't say nothing bad. Again, if you could dish it, I'm going to give it back to you. I do it out of love. I hope y'all do it out of love. If you're watching me and you don't like me and you're writing comments like that, like, that's kind of weird. But I still love you too. But anyway, none, kind of mid. This, overrated and overpriced, but I would still eat it. And a Mexican pizza, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, it's literally the same thing. So, still have fun. I barely touched any, so it was free. So, I'll make some friends with it. But that's going to be the end of the video. And, wait, time out. I said I was going to do this. Somebody going to write that I didn't do it because they didn't watch the whole video. A lot of people do that, right? Hot sauce into the cheese. I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it. That's on me. That's on me. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that for y'all. Boom, boom, boom. Look. Here we go. I see where you're going with it. But I like the jalapeno sauce. I mean, but I see where you're going with it. I just need a little bit of that, like, Diablo in there. You know what I mean? But I see where you're going with it. I like that. That's smart. All the people out there doing this, y'all some real ones. I didn't think of this. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I like Diablo more than hot sauce, but the idea, y'all some real ones for that. That's a dub. But that's going to be the end of the video. Remember, if I replied, I'm not mad. Like, some people get it twisted. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. I love y'all. The hand signs. They made it to YouTube.